Have you ever typed a question into an AI, got back this incredibly fluent, instant answer, and felt that little jolt of excitement, only to realize like 2 seconds later that the answer sounds great but is completely unusable for your actual job? Yeah, you're absolutely not alone. Most of us are just meeting AI in the lobby, having casual chats. But today, we're taking the elevator up. The whole goal of this explainer is to move you away from that frustrating casual chatting and get you building verifiable, professional work. We're going to transform you into a true power user. So here's our roadmap for today. First, we're moving beyond the idea of the clever prompt. Then, we'll build a dependable work loop, figure out how to craft much stronger requests, defeat that pesky hallucination problem, and finally, we'll wrap up with what we call the human signature. Let's jump right in.
Section 1. Beyond the clever prompt, the paradigm shift in AI usage. Okay, we need to bust a really persistent myth right out of the gate. The idea that there's some secret, magic, clever prompt out there that'll fix all your AI problems. This quote from the source material absolutely hit the nail on the head. The decisive skill is not getting ChatGPT to sound confident. It is building a path from intention to a result you can explain and trust. It's so crucial to reframe our mental model here. Generative AI is uneven by design, right? It can draft a flawless memo in 2 seconds and then completely mess up a basic calculation in the very next sentence. Fluency, how well the AI speaks, and reliability, whether what it's actually saying is true, are two completely different things.
And the massive gap between those two things is exactly what separates casual users from the pros. On the conversational level, you ask a basic question like, how can I improve customer retention? And you get a generic textbook answer. Sure, it sounds nice, but it doesn't really help. Now, jump over to the operational level. Here, you're connecting the conversation to permitted data, defining business metrics, generating dashboards, recording assumptions, scheduling reviews, the whole shebang. The difference isn't how long your prompt is, it's the completeness of your entire work system.
Section 2. A dependable work loop. We need to start treating context as a working table, not a perfect memory.
What's really fascinating about this workflow is how it takes the totally abstract idea of talking to an AI and turns it into a concrete, systematic production environment. You have to treat your AI context not as this perfect, flawless memory that knows everything about you, but as a working table, and you need to physically put the right materials on that table to get the job done.
So what exactly goes on the table? 6 specific stages. 1. Define the outcome and the decision you're actually supporting. 2. Ground the AI with trusted sources and constraints. 3. Plan. Actually ask it for an approach before it executes anything. 4. Produce the draft or analysis. 5. Verify the facts and citations. And 6. Package the result for the next person using it. Look, I've got to warn you, skipping even one of these stages creates a predictable gap in reliability. Skip grounding, the AI is just going to guess. Skip planning, it might polish a document entirely in the wrong direction. Skip verifying, well, those confident errors are going to survive right into your final product.
Moving on to Section 3, Building Stronger Requests. This is your toolkit for a practical application.
If we want to stop getting generic answers, we have to stop asking generic questions. Enter the GCOB framework: goal, context, output, and boundaries. These are the 4 essential pillars you absolutely need to stop the model from filling in gaps with its own guesses. Because here's the thing, if you don't give the AI your GCOB, it's just going to invent its own. It'll make up your audience, guess your constraints, and literally hallucinate your context.
Let's actually see this in practice. The weak prompt here is what most people type. Write an email about the delay. It leaves the door wide open for the AI to invent company policy or totally misread the customer relationship. But the strong prompt, it uses that GCOB framework. It defines the specific output, the precise context, a clear goal, and strict boundaries like no carrier blaming. Seeing them side by side really gives you that aha moment about task design, doesn't it? The magic isn't in the AI at all. It's entirely in how well you manage the task.
Section 4. Defeating the hallucination problem, a systematic defense against uncertainty.
We have to talk about the elephant in the room, hallucinations, but we need to stop framing them as some mysterious software glitch that we just have to live with. It's actually a highly solvable workflow problem. When an AI gives you a bad answer, it usually hits one of 5 types of uncertainty. Source uncertainty means the fact just isn't in the documents. Interpretation uncertainty means the source is there, but the wording is super ambiguous. Scope uncertainty, you probably didn't define the audience or date. Tool uncertainty happens when a web search or calculation fails in the background. And decision uncertainty is when the evidence is clear, but the human trade-offs aren't. Writing more confident, commanding prompts won't fix any of these. If an AI makes an error, you categorize it here and actively mitigate it by changing your workflow. Supply a better source or just narrow the scope.
So how do we systematically defend our work from fabricated content? You want to use these highly actionable mechanisms every single time. First, supply the source yourself. Do not rely on the AI's memory. Second, if you ask for a quote, demand a location marker like a page number or a timestamp. Third, and this is a big one, explicitly permit the AI to say not found if the information just isn't there. Giving it permission to say, I don't know, is incredibly powerful. And finally, always verify before publication. Remember, the AI might generate the hallucination, but your workflow is what determines whether it actually survives to see the light of day.
And that brings us to Section 5, the human signature, the resolution of AI accountability.
Here's the million-dollar question. When the machine is doing all this drafting, researching, and calculating in seconds, who actually owns the ideas? Who takes the fall if something goes horribly wrong? This question completely shifts the focus away from the machine's output and places it right back onto human responsibility, human judgment, and human accountability.
The absolutely crucial point here is that your professional skills do not disappear just because you're using AI. Actually, scratch that. They don't disappear. They relocate. They move upstream into how well you design the task, your GCO framework, your constraints, and they move downstream into how critically you evaluate the output. Think of it like this. The AI is just the scaffold. You are still the building. And part of that human expertise is knowing exactly when to pull the emergency brake. Stop criteria are a professional skill. Knowing when to pause, like when a source can't be verified or when a consequential action can't be previewed, that is the true mark of a power user, because speed is literally only valuable if it preserves trust. We're going to end on this incredibly powerful thought from the text. The goal is not to hand your judgment to a machine. It is to protect your judgment. Keep the human signature. The AI takes away the repetitive, mechanical work so your true judgment can actually shine through. So looking ahead, how are you going to design your next workflow to ensure you are the one confidently signing off on the final result? Think about that as you start implementing these tools. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and until next time, keep exploring.